All right, so you're ready to dive in. This time we're tackling something big,
Yeah.
China's global strategy.
Huge.
And you've given me
It's a big one.
a ton of material to work with.
Yeah.
Historical analysis, economic forecasts, even some insights into how the Chinese Communist Party actually operates.
Well, that's what's so fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see this real tension between their need for control within China,
Okay.
but also their willingness to take risks in their dealings with the rest of the world. So can they have it both ways?
Right, and that's the question that I kept asking myself as I was going through all of this.
Yeah.
Is it sustainable? So to figure out where China might be going,
Yeah.
we kind of need to rewind a little bit, right?
Absolutely. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't understand Xi Jinping's China without looking back at the China that came before him.
Okay.
It'd be like
Yeah.
reading the last chapter of a book and expecting it to make sense.
Perfect analogy.
Right.
Yeah, so let's go back to the beginning. We're talking Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao revolution. The world was a totally different place.
Yeah. And China saw itself as being on the outside looking in,
Right.
almost like they were rejecting the established order.
Hmm.
They felt the system, the global system,
Yeah.
heavily favored the powerful.
Yeah.
And it was all at the expense of developing nations like themselves.
Looking back, it's hard to argue that they were completely wrong about those imbalances,
No, you can't.
even if their methods were, well, extreme, to say the least.
Right, but that's what bred that isolation.
Right.
They were suspicious of everything the West stood for, the UN, the World Bank, even just the media.
Right.
So it makes sense that they were hesitant to engage with the global economy, at least at first.
Right, and then along comes Deng Xiaoping.
Yeah.
Talk about a plot twist.
Big time.
Suddenly it's all about opening up
Right.
economic reforms, the whole
Yeah.
kit and caboodle.
Deng Xiaoping was a pragmatist.
Yeah.
He knew that to achieve anything, especially economic growth, China couldn't stay isolated. And the perfect example is his decision to create those special economic zones.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that single move
Wow.
launched China onto the global stage.
Yeah, and launch it did. We're talking decades of incredible economic transformation.
Unbelievable.
Double-digit growth, made in China everywhere you looked.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing, but was it sustainable?
That, my friend, is the million-dollar question.
All right.
See, this period, especially under Hu Jintao, it was all about maintaining that growth, but things got a little messy.
Okay.
Corruption was rampant, and there was this feeling that everyone was just out to get rich no matter the cost.
Right, and the sources called this the fat years.
Oh, yeah.
And that quote, "I'd rather be weeping in a BMW than laughing on a bike."
Oh, I love that one.
It really stuck with me.
It perfectly captures the sentiment of the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Material wealth was the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Even if it meant, well, sometimes overshadowing the party's core principles.
Which kind of sets the stage for Xi Jinping in a big way, right?
It's-
He inherits this China bursting with economic power,
Yeah.
but also grappling with all these internal contradictions.
And that's what makes Xi Jinping such a fascinating figure.
Okay.
He's trying to, reconcile these opposite impulses.
Right.
He wants China to be this global superpower,
Yeah.
but he also wants to maintain control.
Hmm.
Wrestle back the narrative, tackle corruption.
Okay.
Essentially, he wants to return to the party's roots while simultaneously launching them into the future.
Ambitious is an understatement.
It's a tough job, right?
So how does that actually play out? Where do we see this control and this ambition in action?
Well, it's everywhere you look, really.
Okay.
Domestically, Xi launched that huge anti-corruption campaign.
Right.
He went after high-ranking officials, local party members. Nobody was safe.
Wow.
Remember the Bo Xilai scandal?
Right.
That sent shockwaves through the party.
Yeah.
It showed just how ruthless Xi Jinping was willing to be.
Yeah, it was a not-so-subtle reminder of who was in charge.
Exactly.
Right.
And then there's a flip side, his vision for China on the world stage.
Okay.
That's where the Chinese dream comes in.
Which, from what I gathered, it's about a lot more than just, individual aspirations.
It is much bigger.
It's this whole idea of national destiny, kind of like the American dream, but on a
Sure.
much, much grander scale.
Exactly. And this is where it gets interesting for the rest of the world.
Okay.
Because China, under Xi Jinping, they're not content with just playing by the rules.
Hmm.
They're looking to rewrite them.
Okay, hold on. Before we get to the rule rewriting,
Yeah.
you mentioned these 12 keywords that Xi Jinping uses.
Yes.
Almost like a secret code
Right.
for understanding his strategy.
It's like a crash course in Xi Jinping thought, straight from the source.
Okay, hit us with the highlights. What are they?
All right. So one of them is comprehensive deepening reform.
Okay.
Now, this isn't just some minor tweaks to the system,
Right.
this signals a real willingness to shake things up, economically, politically, even within the military.
So not just reform, but deep reform.
Exactly. Deep, comprehensive reform.
Okay, got it.
Another interesting one is socialist literature and art.
Okay. You might think, what does that have to do with global domination?
Right. It seems a bit out of place,
Yeah.
but it shows Xi Jinping's focus on controlling the narrative,
Yeah.
shaping hearts and minds, not just within China, but internationally.
So it's more than just money and missiles.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
He wants art and culture to promote this vision of a spiritual civilization, something that goes hand in hand with economic development.
Interesting.
It's soft power in action.
Right, like those Confucius institutes popping up everywhere.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Fascinating. All right, so we've got the vision, we've got these keywords, this emphasis on control. But how does it actually translate into, action on the world stage?
Well, that's where the economic muscle comes in.
Right. We've got to talk about
We can't avoid it forever.
Yeah. The Belt and Road Initiative.
There it is.
Trillions of dollars, infrastructure projects across continents.
Mind-boggling, isn't it?
It's almost impossible to grasp the scale of it all.
It really is.
And what I'm struggling with is,
Yeah.
are these investments actually paying off? Or is it more about China making these long-term strategic bets?
It's a bit of both, and I think that's what makes it so fascinating.
Okay.
There's no question that many of these projects have the potential for real economic wins for China and its partners.
Right.
But the question of who benefits more and at what cost, that's where things get a little murky.
And that's where I get a little wary, to be honest, because
Yeah.
we've talked about this drive for control, this desire to reshape the global order.
Right.
And the cynical part of me can't help but wonder if the Belt and Road is less about shared prosperity
I see where you're going with this.
and more about China calling the shots.
And, the cynic you might not be entirely wrong.
Okay.
There has been a lot of criticism leveled at the Belt and Road Initiative.
What kind of criticism?
Well, some experts are saying it's more about China securing its own interests
Okay.
than genuinely trying to help global development. In fact, one of the sources used a great Chinese proverb to describe this whole dynamic. Same bed, different dreams.
Okay. I have to break that down for me.
All right, so imagine
Yeah.
China has one vision for a particular project, right?
Okay.
Let's a deep water port in a strategically important location.
Got it.
On paper, it looks like everyone wins.
Right.
But the reality on the ground might be that the smaller nation ends up with all this debt
Oh, I see.
that they can't possibly repay, making them more reliant on China.
So their dreams, so to speak, might not actually align.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
It's a bit like be careful what you wish for.
Right. Because it all sounds a bit, well, neo-colonial, to be honest.
I mean, those are strong words.
Yeah.
But the concern is definitely out there.
Right. So not exactly a spotless track record.
Not exactly.
It seems like this balancing act that we keep talking about,
Yeah.
control at home, risk abroad.
Right.
With the Belt and Road, it feels like the risks are starting to outweigh the potential rewards
It could be.
for everyone.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
Can they maintain this balancing act, or will those contradictions catch up to them? Because even though China's a rising power, they're not immune to the laws of economics or, frankly, geopolitics.
And speaking of geopolitics, we can't talk about China's global ambitions without mentioning the military, right?
No, we can't.
Especially what's happening in the South China Sea.
Right.
What's the story there? Is a stronger military just another tool for them? Or is it something more aggressive, something more worrying?
Well, Xi Jinping has been very clear about this.
Okay.
He believes a strong military is absolutely central to achieving the Chinese dream.
Okay.
He sees it as essential for protecting their interests, both at home and abroad. And let's be honest,
Yeah.
their military expansion,
Mhm.
especially their naval capabilities, it's been hard to miss.
Right.
They're sending a message.
So not just rattling sabers, but building bigger ones too.
You could say that.
It's a little unnerving, I have to admit.
Yeah.
Even for someone like me who tries to stay optimistic.
I understand.
So, is this all part of some long game? Or should we be concerned about a potential conflict?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Because the elephant in the room is the United States.
Right. That's the question that keeps diplomats and policymakers up at night.
Yeah.
But from what I've gathered from these sources,
Okay.
it seems like while China's definitely building up its military. They'd still prefer to achieve their goals through economic and diplomatic means,
Okay.
at least for now.
So more of a speak softly but carry a big stick
Mm-hmm.
approach. But for
Yeah.
how long, right?
Exactly.
That's the real question.
That's always the question with China.
Yeah.
And this is where understanding their history, their worldview, it becomes so crucial. They have a long memory, and they're playing a long game.
Mm.
They're not going to risk everything on a risky military gamble if they can achieve their goals through other means.
Right. At least that's what we hope.
We hope so.
Right. But even if they're not looking for a fight in the traditional sense,
Right.
there's no denying that they're competing aggressively when it comes to technology,
Oh, absolutely.
artificial intelligence, quantum computing, 5G.
Everything.
It feels like they're ahead of the game in all of these areas.
They're definitely making strides.
So how does that play into their overall strategy?
Well, I think technology is really at the heart of their ambitions.
Okay.
They see it as crucial for economic dominance, of course, but also for strengthening their military and just projecting their power globally. It's another tool in the toolkit, alongside those economic investments and their growing military.
So give us some concrete examples. How are they using technology to reach their goals?
One very clear example is their Made in China 2025 initiative.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
This is all about using technology to really dominate key industries.
Yeah, like what?
Robotics, aerospace, even biotechnology.
Hmm.
They're pouring billions into research and development.
Wow.
And they're not afraid to, shall we say, push the boundaries to get ahead.
Yeah, because I've heard whispers, right,
Yeah,
about them not always playing by the rules when it comes to acquiring new technologies.
it's a sensitive topic.
Right, industrial espionage, that sort of thing.
There have been concerns, yes.
Yeah.
And this is where things get tense with the West,
Right,
because it's not just about economic competition anymore.
right.
It's about who controls the technologies that will shape the 21st century.
It's almost like a technological arms race with, global power hanging in the balance.
Essentially, yes.
No pressure then.
Right. High stakes.
So this brings us to another really interesting point that came up in the sources.
Yeah.
What drives Xi Jinping, the man at the center of all of this?
Right, because personalities matter.
They do. And Xi Jinping, from what I've read, he's a bit of an enigma.
He's a fascinating figure, to say the least.
Okay.
He's a princeling,
But
A
what?
princeling meaning he's a descendant of a prominent Communist Party official.
Oh, okay.
So he was born into privilege,
Yeah.
but he also experienced hardship during the Cultural Revolution. So he's seen the party at its best and its worst,
That's interesting.
which makes his story all the more intriguing.
Princeling, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, it's a term you hear thrown around a lot.
It does add another layer to all of this.
Definitely.
To live through those tumultuous times.
Right.
To come from that kind of background, it must have shaped his worldview.
Absolutely, it had to.
So how has it shaped his leadership? Is he a reformer like Deng Xiaoping? Or something else entirely?
That's the big question, isn't
It is.
And I think it's safe to say he's not cut from the same cloth as Deng Xiaoping.
Okay.
Deng was all about pragmatism and opening up to the world.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping is more about consolidating power,
Hmm.
strengthening the party's grip on all aspects of society.
Control is the name of the game.
You could say that.
Okay.
He believes the party has the right to guide China's destiny,
Mm.
and he's not afraid to use its power to achieve his goals, even if it ruffles a few feathers.
Which has implications for how he interacts with the rest of the world, right?
Of course.
Because if control is the priority at home,
Yeah.
how does that translate to actions on the world stage?
It's about projecting strength,
Okay.
demanding respect,
Mm.
pushing back against what he sees as attempts to hold China back.
So not just playing defense, but going on the offense.
Exactly.
Mm.
He sees China as a rising power,
Right.
and he's determined to make them a leading force in the 21st century.
Okay.
And he's willing to take risks to achieve that goal.
Which brings us right back to that question that's been hanging over this entire conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Can he maintain this balancing act?
A good question.
Can China achieve these ambitious goals without pushing the world to a breaking point?
That's the billion-dollar question.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
It's something that diplomats, academics, anyone paying attention to global affairs is thinking about.
It is a lot to think about, but
Yeah.
you've given us a lot to consider.
Well, I hope so.
Because at the end of the day, this does affect our lives,
Oh, absolutely.
even if we don't realize it.
Yeah.
You're right. It's easy to get caught up in the grand narratives and forget that there are real-world implications for everyday people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So help us connect the dots.
Okay.
How does China's global strategy, their ambitions, their challenges, how does it all filter down to impact the lives of our listeners?
Well, you can think about it this way.
Okay.
The goods you buy, the services you use, the information you access, all of that
Mm-hmm.
is being shaped by China's role in the global economy.
Mm.
Their companies are becoming major players, their investments are influencing industries,
Okay.
and their technological advancements are setting new standards.
So we're not just talking about seeing more made in China labels at the store,
No, it's much bigger than that.
but about a much deeper integration of China into like the fabric of our lives.
Exactly. It's about infrastructure, energy, finance. China's becoming a force in all of these areas,
Mm.
and that's going to impact economies around the world, including our own.
Right, and it's not just about economics either.
No, definitely not.
Their rise has these huge implications for the global balance of power
Absolutely.
because they are challenging the existing order, right?
They are.
Pushing their own vision for how things should be run.
There's no question about it.
It feels like the stakes are incredibly high.
They are incredibly high. And this is where things get really interesting, especially for those of us who value things like democracy, human rights, freedom of speech.
Okay.
China has a different model of governance,
Right.
a different approach to individual liberties, even a different vision for the internet, as we've discussed.
And they're not shy about promoting their model as a viable alternative.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They see it as a legitimate, even superior system.
Wow.
And they're actively exporting it through things like the Belt and Road Initiative, those Confucius Institutes, building relationships with developing nations.
Mm.
It's a battle of ideas, a clash of values,
Right.
as much as it is a struggle for economic and geopolitical dominance.
Wow. It's a lot to unpack, and to be honest, it's a little overwhelming.
It is a lot to take in.
But you've given us a lot to think about,
I hope so.
if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that China's rise is a big deal, and not just for, diplomats and politicians,
Right.
but for every single one of us.
That's going to affect us all
It's going to affect our lives in ways we can't even imagine.
in ways we probably haven't even thought of yet.
Right.
And that's why understanding all of this,
Yeah.
grappling with it, is so important.
Okay.
The future isn't predetermined.
Right.
The choices made by China's leaders, the actions they take,
Yeah.
those will have consequences for all of us.
So what do we do? Where do we go from here? Because it's easy to feel kind of powerless when we're talking about these global forces.
It is. It's a natural reaction.
Right.
But I truly believe that knowledge is the best way to combat that feeling of powerlessness.
Okay.
The more informed we are, the better equipped we'll be to deal with all of this.
Right.
It starts with understanding their ambitions,
Okay.
recognizing both their strengths and their weaknesses, and having these thoughtful, critical conversations about what challenges lie ahead.
Which brings us to that final provocative thought that you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
This inherent tension in China's approach.
Right, because it is a delicate balancing act.
It is.
And the sources really highlighted that.
Okay, so unpack that for us.
Okay, so it comes down to this.
Yeah.
China needs control.
Okay.
They have this deep-seated desire to manage everything at their society, their image on the world stage.
Right?
We see it in their domestic policies, their approach to censorship, even in their vision for a very controlled internet.
Right, that cyber sovereignty thing that we talked about.
Exactly, the Great Firewall, it's all part of that.
Hmm.
But here's the interesting part.
Okay.
While they crave control internally, they're also taking massive risks on the world stage.
Like what?
Well, look at the Belt and Road Initiative.
Okay.
Trillions of dollars invested in these often risky ventures in countries that aren't exactly known for their stability.
Right.
It's a gamble on a huge scale.
So control at home, risk-taking abroad.
Exactly.
It does seem kind of unsustainable when you put it like that.
And that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What happens if those gambles don't pay off? What if those Belt and Road projects fail?
Yeah.
What if their economic growth slows down?
Right.
What if there's unrest within China?
Oh.
Or what if other countries start pushing back against their ambitions?
Right. That's a lot of what ifs.
It is.
Okay, so paint us a picture.
All right.
What could happen if those risks backfire?
Yeah.
What's the worst case scenario?
Well, imagine a China where the economy takes a nosedive.
Okay.
Those Belt and Road investments start failing.
Right.
Countries start to question the deals they made with China. The win-win narrative falls apart.
And what happens inside China when the economic miracle starts to fade?
That's where things could get really unpredictable.
Okay.
Historically speaking, when you have economic hardship,
Yeah.
You tend to get social unrest, you get dissent.
Right.
And for a party that's based its entire legitimacy on delivering prosperity,
Yeah.
they might see that as a threat, and they might feel the need to crack down even harder.
So it becomes like a vicious cycle. Crackdowns lead to more economic problems,
Potentially, yes.
which lead to even more unrest.
It's a dangerous spiral.
Wow.
And in that kind of scenario, they might adopt a more assertive foreign policy,
Okay.
project strength to distract from the problems at home,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even find a scapegoat.
Right.
It's a classic tactic.
Yeah, this is getting a bit bleak, to be honest.
It's not a cheerful picture, but
Yeah, because part of me thought that, China was this unstoppable force, that they were destined to rule the world.
it's a common misconception.
Right.
But it's important to remember that no nation is immune to history
Mm-hmm.
or to unintended consequences.
Right.
Empires have risen and fallen, often for reasons their leaders never saw coming.
So you're saying that China's success isn't guaranteed.
Exactly. And that's what I want your listeners to understand.
Okay.
The future is not set in stone.
Hmm.
The choices China makes, both domestically and internationally, will have a profound impact on the world.
Right.
It's a story that's still being written,
Yeah.
and in a way, we all have a role to play in how it unfolds.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that even with these huge global forces at play, we still have agency.
We do, and that's why conversations like this are so important,
Yeah.
because knowledge is power.
Right.
The more we understand, the better prepared we are to have these discussions, to advocate for the future we want,
Mhm.
and just navigate this increasingly complex world.
This has been a really eye-opening conversation.
I'm glad to hear that.
And to be honest, I have a feeling we'll be revisiting this topic again soon.
I have no doubt.
Because this is a story that's far from over.
I'm for over.
All right, so on that note,
Yeah.
we'll leave our listeners with this final thought. If China's plans encounter serious setbacks,
Okay.
will they retreat or will they double down?
Ooh, good question.
The answer to that question could determine the course of the 21st century.
No pressure, China. A lot of pressure.
It is. It is.
Everyone, really.
Right. So if their plans backfire,
Yeah.
if things start to go south,
Whoa.
will they pull back or
Mm.
will they double down? Will they become more aggressive?
It's hard to say. It
Right.
really depends on
Ugh.
so many factors,
Okay.
but it's definitely something to watch out for.
It is a fascinating story. And like I said, I think we'll be revisiting it again soon.
Oh, I have no doubt.
But for now, thank you so much for coming on the show.
There's been a pleasure, as always.
And for our listeners, keep learning, keep asking those tough questions.
Yes. Keep digging.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.